What if I told you that you don't need to spend a fortune to make your music or movies sound a whole lot better? That's right. Sometimes the smallest piece of gear can make a huge difference. This video is all about the best budget DACs. I've lined up a handful of picks, and each one is matched for a different kind of need. So no matter what setup you're running, there's something here for you. You'll find the links to every product down in the description if you want to check them out. And if you're enjoying this kind of content, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss new videos. If you've got any questions or suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I always like seeing what you think. Let's get into the reviews. Topping E30, 2, Best Overall Budget DAC. This one is often called the best all-around pick for people trying to stay on a budget. What stands out right away is the way it handles sound detail. 2 upgraded AKM chips are working together here, which means cleaner playback and a smoother tone than you'd usually expect in this price range. It's not just about high-resolution files, though. The coaxial and optical inputs make it easy to hook up older gear like DVD players, set-top boxes, or even a game console. That can breathe some new life into equipment that might otherwise just collect dust. I kind of like that. Almost feels like giving the old gear a second wind. Powering it is simple too. It runs off a 5-volt supply, which can be pulled from a laptop, a phone charger, or even a power bank. There's also a noise filtering circuit inside to keep things clean, so you don't get that annoying hum that sometimes comes with cheaper setups. On top of that, you can run it in pure DAC mode or use it with built-in volume control, which makes it flexible for different systems. Some folks do mention the remote control can be hit or miss, but aside from that, it's a strong contender for best budget DAC. SMSL SU1 Best Ultra Cheap DAC. If you've ever thought good audio always comes with a big price tag, this little box proves that wrong. It's tiny, light enough to fit in your hand, but it packs some surprising performance for something this cheap. At the center of it is a modern AKM chip, the same kind used in pricier gear, and it manages to deliver a really clean and detailed sound. People often describe the separation of instruments as better than what they'd expect at this level, which makes it feel like you're getting more than you paid for. I like that. It's kind of like ordering a burger and finding out fries came with it too. It supports high-resolution files all the way up to formats most people probably won't ever need. Plus, it handles DSD and even MQA. Inputs include USB, coaxial, and optical, so it's easy to connect to a computer, CD player, or other digital source without much fuss. It runs off USB power, so you don't need an extra power brick on your desk. Now, there are a couple of quirks. Some users on Windows report that it needs the official driver to avoid clicking noises, and a few units have had reliability hiccups. But for an ultra-cheap DAC, it's hard to beat the value here. SMSL DO100 Pro Best Budget DAC for Home Stereo. If you're setting up a home stereo and want something affordable that still feels pretty high-end, this one hits a nice sweet spot. It's built around a pair of ESS chips that handle super high-resolution formats with ease, and the sound quality gets a lot of praise for its wide stage and strong dynamic range. Listeners often point out that it brings out details in songs that can get lost with weaker gear. What makes it stand out, though, is the number of ways you can hook it up. USB, coaxial, optical, Bluetooth, even HDMI ARC, so you can run it with a computer, a TV, a console, or just about anything else. I like that flexibility because it means you're not locked into a single setup. It also supports MQA decoding if that's your thing, with up to 8 times expansion. Bluetooth performance is solid too, with support for LDAC and aptX HD, so streaming from a phone doesn't feel like a big downgrade. And for home use, having both RCA and balanced XLR outputs gives you more freedom in pairing it with amplifiers or speakers. The only drawback I've seen mentioned is that some units can be a little quirky in operation. Still, for a budget pick aimed at home stereo use, this one checks a lot of boxes. FiiO K7 Best Desktop All-in-One Budget DAC. This one is built for the desk, and it's more than just a DAC. It's also an amplifier, so instead of juggling 2 different boxes, you get everything in one. What makes it interesting is how much power it puts out, enough to run demanding headphones without breaking a sweat. For folks with high impedance gear, that can be a big deal. Inside, it's using a pair of AKM chips along with THX amplifiers, and the result is a clean, balanced sound with just a touch of warmth. The bass has punch without being muddy, the mids stay clear, And the highs don't come off harsh. A lot of people compare it to gear that costs way more, and some even call it the sweet spot for value. I like to think of it as a piece of gear that lets you focus on the music instead of worrying about whether your setup can handle it. It's got all the inputs and outputs you'd expect: USB, optical, coaxial, RCA. And you can run balanced headphones with the 4.4 jack. The design feels premium too, though some users say the volume knob steps can be a little annoying. No Bluetooth here, but for a desktop setup, it still punches way above its price. AudioQuest DragonFly Black, best portable budget DAC. This one looks more like a thumb drive than audio gear, but don't let the size fool you. It's a full DAC and headphone amp that you can slip in your pocket and take anywhere. I kind of like how low-key it is. Plug it into a laptop or phone, and suddenly you've got better sound without carrying around a brick. The heart of it is an ESS chip that supports up to 24-bit 96 kHz playback, which is more than enough for most people's music libraries. The sound is often described as clearer, with better instrument separation than what you'd get from a computer's built-in audio. There's even a little LED light that changes color depending on the sample rate, which is a neat touch. It runs off USB power, so you don't need to charge it, but that does mean it can draw a bit from your phone's battery if you're on the go. Output is strong enough for most headphones and in-ear monitors, though it's not the best match for really high impedance models. Some users mention occasional pops with adapters, but most find it super easy to use. For portable setups, this is one of the best budget DACs you can carry. Creative Sound BlasterX G6 Best Gaming Budget DAC. If you're looking for a budget DAC that's built with gamers in mind, this little box is hard to ignore. It's compact enough to sit quietly on a desk, but inside it packs features that give gaming audio a serious upgrade. One of the big selling points is the virtual surround, which can make it easier to tell where footsteps or shots are coming from. Pair that with Scout mode, and you've got a tool that can give you an edge in competitive play. The amplification is impressive too, with enough strength to run high-impedance headphones up to 600 ohms. That means you don't need to swap gear if you're switching between easy-to-drive headsets and heavier studio headphones. There's also an external mic input with side tone, so you can hear yourself while talking, though some folks do mention a slight delay there. What I like is how customizable it is on PC. The software lets you tweak EQ, set up different profiles for games, and even play around with effects. The controls on the device itself are handy as well. Volume knob, gain switch, surround toggle, all right at your fingertips. It's USB powered, so no battery hassles, but that does mean it always needs to stay plugged in. For gamers who want better sound without breaking the bank, this is a smart pick. So there you have it. Plenty of choices that prove you don't need to spend a fortune to step up your audio experience. No matter if you're at home, at your desk, or on the go, there's something out there that fits. If you're interested in any of the products I talked about, the links are waiting for you down in the description. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Got questions or your own favorites? Drop them in the comments. I always like seeing what you think. And if you want more, check out our other videos too. Thanks for sticking around.